Huntington awaits. Well, should I take the train or drive? Oh no, drive. And of course, being from the town that makes the cars, well, why not? How do you live out here? I know it's beautiful and it's Long Island and there's the sound but if I lived out here and had to make that drive, I would have to have a gun in my glove compartment. And it wouldn't be for anybody else. It would be like every 2 miles I just want to shoot myself. No, don't do it, Mike. Don't. No, I can't take this anymore. No, we're almost to Westbury. No! Plainview is in sight. Plainview! Early artistic people came up with that name. Yes, let's start an art colony out here called Plainview. And then I was held up coming in here because I ran into an old friend that I had not seen for years. Because Huntington, Long Island, actually plays a very critical role in my own development. And it, you may know her here as one of your local good people, Sandy Chapin, that extended your wait a little longer. But her husband Harry, I just want to tell you a quick story because I don't know if I ever would have got my start first with my newspaper back in Michigan, which then led into my first film, Roger and Me, had it not been for Harry Chapin. I was 21, 22 years old, and I'm living in the hometown of General Motors, and I'm wanting to start this newspaper because the local town paper, the Flint Journal, was essentially an organ of the corporation. So we never really got any real truth about what was happening. And I decided that we were going to start our own newspaper. Of course, we had no money, and I was on unemployment at the time. And so I decided, I was a huge Harry Chapin fan. And I thought, you know what, maybe he will come here and help us. I had this just crazy idea. And I saw that he was playing in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And so my sister and I and a couple friends, we drove over to Grand Rapids. And during the intermission of the concert, I snuck backstage to see if I could meet him. And I'm just about to his dressing room door when a big security guy grabs me. And he goes, "What the hell are you doing?" And I acted like I knew Harry. So I just said, I'm just going to see Harry for a second. "No, you're not." And he grabs me by the shoulder. He just like lunges backwards with me. And go, hey, wait a minute. I was just going to talk to Harry. And all of a sudden, the dressing room door opens, and it's Harry. And he says, "Well, what's going on out here?" And I said, actually, before I got a chance to say anything, the cop said, "He says he knows you. He wants to see you." Well, then let him come see me. And the cop released me. And I go back in the dressing room and I say, "Harry, I'm Michael Moore, and I'm from Flint, Michigan, and it's the hometown of General Motors, and it's where and there's a lot going on there, and we want to start a newspaper, and I don't know, maybe if you could come and do a concert for us or help us or whatever." And he said, "Sure, this sounds great." Just like that. Here's my brother's number in New York. And he gives me his brother's Jeb's number, and 2 months later, he's in Flint doing 2 big sold-out shows so we could start this alternative newspaper. For people he didn't even know. He just after 2 minutes with me, he just thought, okay, I'm going to do this. And in the years hence, I've heard stories from other people who were young at the time, young adults, who he inspired, who he helped give a start to. And he planted this all across the country. It's a story that really nobody knows. And out of this paper grew then the thing that became my first film. And Harry came for 5 years, every year, and did anywhere from 2 to 5 concerts a year for us in Flint, Michigan. As the city started to decline, Harry Chapin would show up and help us and be there for us for whatever we needed. And of course, so then on a certain day in July in 1980, on the Long Island Expressway, a tragic thing happened, as you know, his passing, and it sent such a shockwave through people in Flint, because we sort of had adopted him as one of our own. And the next day in the town park in downtown Flint, literally thousands of people, a couple thousand people showed up for this memorial vigil, this thing that just kind of happened by, people just showing up, and the radio station put the word out, and it was a beautiful thing, and I'm sure things like that happened across the country because he meant so much to so many people. He had this philosophy that the concerts he would do one concert for himself and one for the other guy. And literally 50% of his concerts were benefits for local groups across the country. If you want to see a great description of Harry and his ability to make things like this happen, if you go on YouTube and type in Bruce Springsteen, Harry Chapin, at the memorial concerts for Harry at Carnegie Hall a year or so later, Springsteen played there, but he began the song by telling the story of meeting Harry and what Harry did to get Bruce involved in helping the hunger program and helping these other things that you can see was an early inspiration too for Bruce Springsteen and all the good works that he's done over the years. And so you see, I see over the years how many people that have been touched by Harry, and I come out here to Huntington and visit Sandy and the family, and so I have when I heard that we were going to be able to take the book tour to Huntington, Long Island, it was a special thing for me personally, because without the man from Huntington, there may not have been a Roger and Me or any of these films I've done or been able to do, and so I'm grateful for him, for his family, and for those of you who are his neighbors, and the collective goodwill that takes place in this wonderful town. So thank you very much for letting me tell you that story.